Ryan, thanks for joining us as we get ready for another weekend's game, of course. Let's start with how preparation's going for an FA Cup first round tie against a Dagenham side that have got quite a bit of experience, haven't they? A well-established non-league team.
Yeah, they're a really good outfit. We've watched a couple of games now this week. It's helped us not having a midweek game, so we can prepare and plan in a little bit more detail. We've got a little bit more time for that. Obviously, they've been in the league a few years back, but no, they're a really good outfit and going well in the league at the moment.
I guess the modern day now is that you can get into everything, can't you? You can look at opposition, you look at players, and you can do your homework that way.
Yeah, but the foundations, the most important thing is just concentrating on what we're doing. We're in a good position and a good place at the moment, and we've got to make sure that continues and we take that form and how we're doing into this weekend and make sure it's a difficult game for them.
Of course, a lot has been made by a lot of clubs over the last couple of years how the FA Cup is thought about really in today's game, whereas years and years ago that was the pinnacle and everybody loved it. What are your views on the FA Cup?
I still think it is the pinnacle. I think it's the best competition about, especially for the lower league teams like ourselves. The journeys that you can get on, you've seen in the past the lower league teams that have gone on good runs. Grimsby a few years back when they got to like the quarterfinals. I think it's brilliant for the club. I think it's brilliant for the fans. It's brilliant for the players. You never know where you're going to be drawn out in the hat the further down the competitions you go, and you want to keep progressing because you want them opportunities to go to Old Trafford, go to Anfield, get ties like that in the third or fourth round, whatever it may be. But it's a great competition. It's disappointing that some people don't value it how it should be valued, but we're really looking forward to it.
And the cash rewards have really improved as well, haven't they? They can transform lower league clubs like yourselves to go on to better things, because there's a lot of money at stake. I think it's £45,000 for the weekend's win if you can get over the hurdle. Yeah,
the money's massive for lower league teams and also for non-league teams. I've been involved with some non-league teams myself in the past, and the further you progress, it helps with the foundations of things for clubs in terms of the money that's coming in, the budget that they can then spend, the infrastructure they can help to upgrade things and facilities with the training grounds and grounds, etc. So it's a massive part of it. Yeah.
The routine is there, and the be-all and end-all is league points. But do you get a sort of different feeling when it's an FA Cup weekend?
Same feeling in terms of you want to win, and you got to make sure you win at the end of it. But it is knockout football now, isn't it, with no replays. So you've got that knockout vibe. So rather than teams in the past, they might come to a fixture and think, right, let's get a draw and we'll go back to our home play. It's not going to be like that now. It's got to be settled on the day. So it brings that extra little bit of spice. Teams might be a bit more open and go for it a little bit more. But no, we'll plan, we'll prepare, we'll put a plan in place that hopefully can get us over the round and get us into the next round for the hat.
Your players will be waiting to see what finalised team that comes out, of course. Is it one of those that you look at and think, do we try one or two other players, and do we get some minutes in under some other players' belts? What are your thoughts on the team selection?
The team selection will be, we'll pick the strongest team possible to win the game. We won't undervalue Dagenham at all. They're a strong team. They've had some decent results of late. We can't be naive enough to think that we can afford to rest 3 or 4 players in the game to give others game time. We've got to pick the strongest team possible if we want to progress in this competition.
Can you have a bit of an update on one or two of the injured players who hopefully, fingers crossed, drawing a bit closer to coming back? Jack Powell got 45 minutes in the week. Chris Long's been training. How are things going?
Yeah, Chris Long will be up for selection and will be in the squad. I would imagine come the weekend. And Jack Powell obviously played 45 on Tuesday. He had a day off yesterday to recover. He should be back out training with us today, and if all goes to plan today and tomorrow, there's a high possibility Jack might be involved in the game come the weekend as well.
Well, that's brilliant news for everybody. None more so for the player himself.
Yeah, he's had a tough period, but what he's remained determined, focused, hard working, during this tough time for him. Just the way he applies himself, it doesn't surprise me that he's ready. He's got himself into a condition where he's ready with all the extra work that he's been doing in the time when he's not been out on the grass, and I bet he's chomping at the bit and can't wait to be back involved with the group.
Progress report on Jack Lancaster?
Yeah, I don't want to curse it, but he's ahead of schedule, and again, he's back out on the grass. He's not integrated back in with the group yet. If he gets through this week, he'll be back with the group on Monday, starting with light training. But we're hoping that Jack can play a part in either the Walsall or the Notts County game, which will be a massive bonus for us if we get him back for one of them.
You said you're in a good place at the moment. You certainly are. I think it's just 2 defeats in the last 13 games in total that you've played. While the impressive results are great and there's a good feeling, there's also seems as though the feeling's getting better at the Mornflake Stadium, because the home crowd is growing and growing each week. And again, for players, when you've been there, it's a great feeling, isn't it, when they've got that atmosphere? Yeah,
and the atmosphere's been terrific, hasn't it? And that obviously helps by the performances on the pitch, when the fans can see the energy and the enthusiasm and the work rate that the players are trying to put on the pitch. That reflects in terms of what the supporters are giving. The supporters have been terrific. The atmosphere that they're generating, it does, when you've got that atmosphere, it does give you that extra little bit of buzz around the place. And they're almost like working with each other at the moment. The performances have been good on the pitch, and the atmosphere is then building with that, and long may that continue.
Yeah, let's hope that the singing continues, as you say, the fist pumps continue at the end of it, but you know, you've got to be professional. It's their big day, Dagenham, and they are, as we said earlier, an experienced non-league side.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult game. As I said earlier, we've watched a few of their games now, and they've got different ways of playing. They've got some really experienced within the team. They've got players that we've looked at ourselves in previous transfer windows that are now playing for them. So we know it's going to be a really tough task, and it's going to be a really difficult game, which is why we can't be naive in terms of thinking, oh, we can rest 3 or 4 players because we're playing somebody from the league below. It doesn't work like that. As it is when we've played last year, we played Derby in the Cup, and we almost were out there league above us. We got a point to prove. We got to want to show that we can compete at that level. They'll be doing exactly the same. So we've got to make sure we prepare properly, as we will do, and hopefully then be victorious at the end of it and get into the next round of the hat.